Classroom of the Elite episode 5. And man, in this episode we got a lot of things happening in the episode because we got so many interactions, so many plot devices, so many plot points, so many development in this single episode. And to be honest, I'm probably gonna forget a lot of stuff because, like I said already, so many things happen that there is simply too much to talk about. Hopefully I can say all the basic and important things that happen in this episode, but I guess the main thing that happened in this episode is that we finally got into, well, the main part of this arc, which is basically them competing against each other. We see all the classes competing against each other. Well, not necessarily them against each other, but you know, the teams that are the classes that are team competing against the other classes that are team. And we get a couple of events in this episode, and we get so many people injured in this episode. We get the girl Kinoshita, however you pronounce it. We get Horikita. We get even Ayanokouji hit. We get Sudou. We get so many people injured, to be honest, and hit in this episode. And I mean, it was to be expected, to be honest, because Class C is playing dirty against Class D, especially Class D. They're going against, especially Horikita, because like Ayanokouji explained, they're targeting Horikita and the rest of the people are focused on everybody else. They're basically trying to break, in a sense, Horikita, not necessarily break her in a physical way, but break her in a mental way, which I don't know if they will be able to do it, because I mean, they have been able to break her physically, but with the support of not so much support, but with the advice of Ayanokouji to Horikita, I don't think that will happen. So yeah, we get Horikita injured because she's been targeted by the girls of Class C. Ryuuen is basically doing all kinds of evil stuff in this episode. Well, not so much evil, but to better place his own class, his Class C. He's targeting Horikita, he's targeting especially Class D. He's setting up Horikita to fail. And at the end of the episode, we even see him basically extort Horikita in order to gain points, which he wants a million points. Well, that was the initial case, but he wants more than a million points in order to not report her to the, to the teachers and to the student council, because apparently he says that Horikita was able to injure intentionally Kinoshita. So let's see where that gets him. So I don't know if Horikita will actually give him the million points. I doubt it. Maybe Ayanokouji will actually convince her to actually do it, because maybe it is in their interest to basically at this point or at this moment follow whatever Ryuuen is doing, because maybe that will give him a false sense of security or something like that. But that is what happened in the episode. And throughout this whole episode, we also learn a very important plot point of the episode, of the arc, to be honest, and that is that apparently Ayanokouji is not going for the win, which is something that caught me by surprise, because in the last episode I really thought that he was actually going for the win, but I mean, he is not actually going for the win. Although it is kind of contradicted in the middle part of the episode, because he gives advice to Horikita in able to, well, to win, the last hope they have of winning. He gives her advice to what to do in order to not lose. So I mean, I don't know where that is going, because previous to that he said that his intention was not winning the whole tournament, when he was talking to Kairisawa, that they can be losing all day and that is not a problem for him because it will become something positive in the future. I don't know how this will become something positive. Like I said already, maybe because Class C will get so comfortable with Class D losing all the time that they will relax or something like that. Who knows? Or maybe his plan is to make Class D appear weak to the other classes so they can be caught by surprise in future arcs, in future events. So I don't know what Ayanokouji plan is. So I mean, it is pretty difficult to basically figure out the mentality of Ayanokouji. So of course I'm not going to be able to figure it out. Let's see if he actually will go through not doing anything and basically losing this event, or if he will actually do something, move something, manipulate someone in order to win the event. There are two possibilities at this point, and to be honest, even I don't know where this whole arc, this whole event will end. I mean, the event, I don't know, maybe they'll win, maybe they'll lose, but the arc, I'm actually struggling to see where exactly all of this is going. It is actually a pretty complex arc in the sense that there's so much thing happening. I was not expecting this arc to be this complex, to be honest, because the main premise of the arc is pretty simple. It's basically them having a sport event, competing with each other, see who can get the most points, and things of that nature. But when you really think about it, when you see the episodes, you will see actually that it's actually a lot more complex than that. So that is actually a good thing, because I was not expecting this arc to be this good. And well, Ayanokouji, he's planning all the things. He's basically watching everybody compete. He's even competing himself. He's giving some sort of advice, not so much advice, to be honest. He's more of a warning Horikita, because he said to her that, well, at this point in time, she will not be able to do anything alone. She needs to, in a way, he's trying to convert her to the dark side, if you can call it like that, because he's basically telling her to manipulate Sudou, because of course Ayanokouji now knows that, well, Sudou likes Horikita, and he will use that. Of course, Ayanokouji, being the person that he is, he will use that to his favor, and that is basically what he's trying to imply with Horikita, in order to try to use Sudou in order to win this whole event. Let's see if he will actually be able to accomplish that. And to be honest, another question that rose to me in the middle of the episode was that, well, not so much in the middle of the episode, but at the end of the episode, because these things that I'm talking about happen at the end of the episode, is Ayanokouji actually aware that Horikita was going to get extorted by Ryuuen? Because that was not something that he expected, or at least in this episode implied that was not something that he expected to happen, because he gave her the advice, or the order, if you can call it like that, to try to convince Sudou to come back. And yeah, she was going to do that, but she was intercepted by Kushida, which I don't know if Kushida actually has something to do with Kinoshita getting injured with Ryuuen. Maybe she's actually aware of all of that. We already know that she's a traitor, but is she actually involved in the in the supposedly accident that Kinoshita had? I actually think that she's somehow involved in that, and that maybe because of that, Ayanokouji actually knows that was going to happen. But I mean, it is not implied necessarily in this episode that he knows that. But of course, this is Ayanokouji, and it shouldn't surprise anyone if he actually knew all of this was going to happen to Horikita and all of that things. So let's see if he actually knows. If he doesn't know, let's see where that gets us. I don't know. There's so many things that can happen with that mini plot that happened in this episode. There are so many things where that can get us. I don't know if I'm forgetting something, but Ayanokouji finding out that Sakayanagi is basically the leader of Class A was a pretty interesting scene, because apparently they both know each other. Well, definitely Sakayanagi, because it was kind of implied that Sakayanagi definitely knew who Ayanokouji was, and being Ayanokouji the person that he is, he probably actually also knew, because he was just acting like he didn't knew her. So I'm wondering if they actually know each other from before. I don't know, from the place that Ayanokouji come from, the white room. Maybe Sakayanagi was actually also a girl that was in there, that was in that room. It wouldn't surprise me, to be honest, because she does seem like the smartest person in classroom of the elite apart from Ayanokouji himself. So it wouldn't surprise me that they know each other from even before entering the school where they are. So yeah, that is definitely going to be interesting where it goes in the future. They will definitely face off against each other. That is definitely going to happen. And let's see how Ayanokouji handles her, because we don't actually know that much about her. I mean, she is the leader basically of Class A. She is smart, she is cunning, she is manipulative, she does plan a lot, she is a strategist. We know that, but how exactly is her personality? How does she act? What is her motive? And things of that nature. We need to still find out. So yeah, that was a pretty interesting scene, to say the least. Apparently everybody, well, not everybody, but a couple of people now know that there is a traitor. For example, Karisawa, Horikita, even the fake ex of Karisawa knows, which I always forget his name, but even he knows, because he was having a talk with Karisawa and with Ayanokouji, and apparently he also found out that there's a traitor, which of course Ayanokouji doesn't want to say. Which I don't know if there are two traitors, because the traitor that was the traitor in the last arc, in the in the game that they were in the boat, was Kushida, but I don't know if she's actually the traitor in this arc too, if she's actually giving information to Class C. So I don't know if he's implied that it's actually her or if I'm missing something. I'm probably missing something because when doing this review I only watched the episode one time, so forgive me if I'm actually forgetting something important here, but maybe she is actually. Also the trailer, it wouldn't surprise anybody to be honest at this point if that was the case. So yeah, I mean that is everything for the episode. That is everything for my review. I don't know if I missed something. I will definitely clarify or talk about it in the next episode review if I actually did. But yeah, I mean I guess that will be everything for my review. I'll see you guys in the next episode review.